Good afternoon, Cassia. Gilbert Prue coming in hot with a learning journey for you. As I sit and consider what the most impactful elements of this semester have been, I'm met with the incredibly daunting task of trying to synthesize my learning into a 5-minute experience. My path of learning about the foundations of educational technology have brought forth a heightened awareness in my own teaching practices about what EdTech is, but more importantly, what are the implications of using technology in the classroom. It brought to light the give-and-take relationship that educational technology has in society, its value in the classroom, but more importantly, the necessity of teaching our students how to navigate all the technology that's available to them. So with that, let's dive in. The first revelation that came to me with this class was an understanding of what exactly educational technology is. It's more than just computers, but it encompasses any tool that we use in the classroom that streamlines the learning process for students. Looking back from chalkboards growing up to whiteboards, projectors with PowerPoint presentations, the ability to print large scale, to now storing everything in the cloud. Collaboration through online platforms, access to instant feedback and assessment, and of course, we cannot forget about the smartphone, tablets, and the endless array of apps that are now available to aid in the learning process. So why is this all important? Well, to be frank, it's inevitable. We live in a technology-driven world that is becoming more and more embedded into our society as we speak. We're working with students who don't know a world without technology. They're born into it. My son was able to unlock an iPhone and get into apps by the time he was 1 and was taking selfies of himself around that time. It is the world we live in, and as educators, we have an obligation to help students navigate this experience, while at the same time attempting to keep up with it ourselves. According to John Terra, the window from Web 1.0 to 3.0 was only 17 years. In that time, we went from being able to access information online to being able to create and interact, as well as experience AI interfaces. 17 years is all it took for the world to open up in a way that we could have only dreamed of. From an educational standpoint, a common theme from the weekly presentations was an in-depth understanding of how different learning theories reflect into EdTech. Each of the learning theories has its place in how we view EdTech experiences in the classroom, and oftentimes they're interwoven into one another depending on the applications and technology that's being used. There's not a best-for-all model when it comes to learning theories, but as educators, it's important to understand how they fit into classroom practices. After all, we know our students best. Behaviorism has been present through early days of EdTech. I remember playing Number Munchers on the class Apple computer and becoming absolutely obsessed with leveling up and having the highest score. The sound effects, the pleasing dings, and visuals of having my name and score on the screen provided me with a reward-driven learning experience that also helped me to refine my math skills. Cognitivism is sort of the meat and potatoes of what EdTech can be. This is where the endless array of tools that are available can be used to support student learning. When we view the learning process as an experience where students are required to retain and process information, it's easy to see how technology can be used to assist this. Teachers have the ability to create online tests, quizzes, reinforcement activities, or any type of AV tools to help students retain and process information. I appreciate constructivism as a theory for EdTech. In this context, the teacher takes a step back and lets the students create. This is where the hands-on model of learning is relevant to students. It becomes student-led, engaging, and collaborative. As an arts educator, students are constantly using applications such as GarageBand, video editing software, and presentation tools. It truly speaks to the advancements of technology that students are able to become so engaged in the learning process. A recurring theme throughout the semester was the recognition of the real-world implications of educational technology in the classroom. The first is the need for digital citizenship education in the classroom. Going back to discussions on Web 3.0, there's a pressing need to help students and ourselves understand the implications of our online presence. From identity theft to our digital footprints, there's a consequence for everything that we do online. Every time we offer a piece of technology to students that plugs them in online, we need to ensure that we are teaching them the responsibility of being in this open world space. Unfortunately, the rate that curriculum develops is not conducive to incorporating the ever-changing needs of digital literacy, and so teachers need to be forever vigilant in their quest to incorporate new technologies into the classroom. Which brings me to my next point on EdTech. What are the negative effects that are associated with educational technology? The most important point that I'm cognizant of with technology usage is the digital divide. How are we creating equity with technology usage in schools? The answer, in short, is that we typically aren't. The ramifications of literacy, budgets, and accessibility are creating a wide space between students who have immediate access to technology versus those who don't. A question that I'm left pondering after this class is, what are the long-term effects going to be of the digital divide to lower socioeconomic students or other marginalized groups? As teachers, we need to ask ourselves, what are the benefits of using new tech in the classroom? Who is this really serving? Is it for the students or is it for us, the teachers? Is it necessary? What are the drawbacks? Thinking on how we multitask now, what are the effects on brain development of having so much stimuli to students and their learning? Also, is this a learning tool or a flashy piece of consumerism? Because let's face it, billions of dollars go into the development of technology and nothing in life is free. Every time we get access to some new education tool, it seems the model changes and you have to pay for all of its features. Why are we putting a price tag on student learning, and what are the impacts for schools that can afford these services? So I'd like to go back to my original question. Why EdTech? The short answer is that it is bred out of necessity. There's no escaping the evolution of technology in society, and the obligation that teachers have to effectively instill technology into the classroom cannot be overstated. This quote from Neil Postman has stuck out to me since the first week of class, and I find it to be the perfect summary of my learning throughout this course. We always need to be asking ourselves, what am I taking away from students by introducing this tech into my classroom? While this may seem to imply a negative connotation to educational technology, I still believe that the benefits far outweigh the negatives. Educational technology provides students with a new space to create, collaborate, learn, and experience on a global scale. It shifts learning away from teacher-led practices and puts the onus on them. Educational technology is the byproduct of the society we live in. It's important to understand that balance that is required to effectively bring these tools into the classroom, but that this will lead to a new generation of responsible technology users who are able to use technology for the betterment of society and who can potentially close the gaps of inequity and create a thriving space for all students to learn, experience, shape, and grow.